Alright, first round of the NHL draft was last night, and I honestly debated whether or not I was going to make this video or wait. I decided to just make it now because, look, first and foremost, I don't know anything about junior hockey. I know, like, the top few prospects, that's about it, with a few others sprinkled in, but other than that, I don't know much about junior hockey, so if I say something stupid, that's why. I don't know much, so don't attack me if I say something stupid. But let's just jump into it. The Penguins, going into the draft, they had back-to-back picks. They had picks 11 and 12. 11 is their own pick, and 12 they got from the New York Rangers from the JT Miller trade. So going into the draft, I was thinking, maybe they can trade up into the top 10. Maybe they can get to 5 or something using one or two of those picks along with some other, because they have a lot of draft capital. They didn't do that. Instead, they did something different, and they ended up with a third first round pick, which we'll get into later. But with their first pick, they pick at 11 Benjamin Kindle. Now, as I said, I don't know much about these players or anything. I know, like, the top guys. I know the Matthew Schaefers and guys like that. But other than that, I don't know a ton. However, I do know Benjamin Kindle. I know he's a bit undersized. I think he's, 5'11", 5'10", something like that, and then 180 some pounds, something like that. So he's a bit small, but that's fine. That's fine. He's a forward, and he comes from, oh god, where does he come from? Exactly. See, this is what I mean. I don't know much about these players, so I apologize. Uh, Calgary Hitmen, right? I think. WHL? OHL? Something like that? I don't remember. Forget it. Point is, they drafted centerman. They drafted a center. I was like, okay, at first. Okay. Because personally, I would have liked to see a defenseman. Because the back end was really bad last year. So I was hoping that they would shore that up in the first round. They didn't. We'll get into that later, though. So they drafted Benjamin Kindle, and I was like, okay, they still have the 12th pick, so they can still shore it up now. They end up trading that pick. They end up trading back with the Flyers. And at first I was like, oh, the Flyers. Did it have to be the Flyers? They end up getting picks 31 and 22. So I'm like, okay, cool. We have more first round picks then. I'm okay with it. Nope. Time goes on. The Penguins don't make another move until they draft at 22. At 22, they pick up Bill Zanon. I believe that's how you say his name. Something like that, right? I think. Regardless, Bill Zanon is who they take at 22. He's definitely bigger than Benjamin Kindle. He is, I think, like 6'2". I think he's about the same weight though, like 180 some pounds, something like that. They got him from. Hold on, let me look at my notes here. The QMJHL, yes, that's right. So, again, as I said, I don't know much about Bill Zanon, but they drafted another center. I was like, although I know some people have him listed as a right winger, I was like, okay, would have liked to see a defenseman there. Would have liked to see a defenseman, but that's okay. We still have 31. But then the Penguins do something I was not anticipating in the slightest. They end up trading up again. They end up trading up with the Kings, I believe. Yes, it was the Kings. And then they give up picks 31 and 59 to move up to 24. And with the 24th pick, they select Will Horkoff. He went to University of Michigan, I think. Something like that. Now, he is a big dude. He is already like the proper NHL size. He's like, what, 6'5", 200 some pounds? He's a big dude. So he already has that NHL size. So that's good. And if he can have some defense to him, that's fine. But he's another center. The Penguins selected 3 centers in the first round. I don't know how to feel about that. Now, to be clear, the Penguins absolutely need more depth at center. I will always take more depth at center. However, in the first round, you take 3 centers when you have a desperate need at defenseman? Because Tanger, he's not getting any younger. Owen Pickering, he's young, sure. I like him, but he's still rather raw. And there are some other guys where I'm like, oh boy. So I don't know how I feel about that. But look, I'm not a GM. And as I said, I don't know much about these players. I hope they all become Hall of Famers. I hope that this becomes the top line of the future. I really do. But to me, it's just weird when, you already have Rutger McGroarty there, and, I like what he showed last year at points during the season. So I just don't understand it personally. Now, again, I understand defensemen, they take longer to develop, but the Penguins aren't looking to win now. They're in a definite rebuild, so you can allow that time for that defenseman to grow and groom him in the minors. I mean, I don't know. That's just my take, personally. As I said, I don't know much about these players, much of anything. I'm just giving you my instant thoughts. I might do a video like this after the draft. I haven't decided yet. But those are just my thoughts. Go Penguins. That's it. That's the video. Don't die.